already gave you food.
Thank you, sweetheart.
I'm giving burgers for now, but I can give fries.
I have food.
Later.
I have food. I have food.
Okay.
Yeah, I have chips on me, but I definitely won't turn down a burger. Thank you.
So I don't
Alex,
I guess I'll wait till everyone's back.
Yeah, Mullen's not here.
I had kind of an idea just now. It might require a little work on the back end, but we've always struggled with, and I thought about this because some of the stuff we're putting in. We've always struggled with like what is a civilian and what isn't, right?
Yeah.
And it's always kind of been like, if you're not defined as like a member of a gang formally, then you're kind of just a civilian, right?
No, I got stuff from the vending.
In the past,
the thing
it's
is,
led to a lot of like, kind of, people running around with,
her hair is fucking,
millions of
Nice.
dollars in sports cars, but no real understanding of where it came from, why they got it, whatever.
If I have
and so it's been kind of hard for PD to like treat
reason
people
to wake up, I
accordingly,
can.
because everyone kind of just gets lumped into being a criminal unless they're a government employee.
I thought Nakota said that in the past it was if they weren't a government employee, then they were.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is like, I think you should have a benefit to being like a reputable citizen, but I'm trying to figure out ways to quantify that, right? Or qualify it rather. And so I'm gonna talk to some folks about this, maybe the guys that run Group 6 and things like that. But what if what if we, as the state, empowered PD to, when they look at someone's profile, to see what kind of standing they have with civilian jobs. So, for example, if I pull over Nakota and he's just Joe Blow on the street, and he, he's being accused of something, or there's some allegation about him or whatever, maybe it might be deserved for him to have some kind of public facing recognition of the
Social
fact
credit time
that he, does engage in like civilian. I don't know how to phrase it. It's kind of in my head. It's a fledgling idea, but basically, if there's a way that we could, that civilians could get a benefit to their reputation with the police without, without being a government employee.
Yeah, give them a social credit
system.
Crane.
Yeah,
Oh,
social
no.
credit system. Let's go.
Oh no!
Oh,
no.
Let's go, Crane.
No, we just call it commercial rep.
I don't know, because like, for example, I feel like if someone has worked hard enough to become like a reputable member of Group 6 that's entrusted to like deliver large cash deposits,
I
then
agree,
that probably
but it's
should
a
mean
two-sided
something,
thing.
right? And I don't know.
Right.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, just a thought. I'm just floating that out there for brainstorming in the future.
I
'cause that just came to
agree,
me.
but I also disagree.
So like if we pulled someone over and they were like, "Oh no, I work Group 6 every day," there might actually be a way to verify with their boss. Is that what you're saying, or is it more?
Yeah, kind of like so. Or for example, if someone were to be found with a PD gun planted on them, there might be like more benefit of the doubt for the police to decide whether to charge someone based on their reputation with state-run agencies.
Right. That was
wonder,
a conversation.
I don't know if you still
because
get
right now you're
shafted
kind of just
if you get
flipping
a
coins
fine
in a lot of ways,
or
and
go
even
to
in the
jail.
past,
Does that lose a rep
5
or
years
not?
ago, unless someone was a judge or whatever, you're kind of just going off of personal reputation that you might know through word of mouth.
Right.
But given that we have state-run agencies, maybe there should be some kind of benefit to that, recognition. I don't know. It's a fledgling thought just for people to chew on.
I don't think that's an issue though. Hi.
Okay, are we ready to continue going down the
Mom,
Bill of
thank you so
Human
much for the
Privilege?
13 months.
Sure.
So we've sorted out number 7. Thank you, Crane, for adding that last part. Number 8. Oh wait, sorry, we already did number 8 too. Any objections to 8 again? As is currently?
Nope.
I don't think
Nice.
Oh, I'm gonna add one more thing, number 7, and just
Yeah.
say that recordings obtained with, well, how do we even adjudicate? I guess the judges had to figure it out. I was gonna say maybe we write something about recordings obtained without this affirmative consent will not be viewed as valid evidence.
There would be a
in court,
trade-off.
but then everyone
Simo,
just say,
if
I
you
didn't
went for
know.
just the easiest
Yeah, just
job
let-
compared to
Oh,
the
I
one
guess
that
let
the
pays
judge
the
figure it
most,
out.
right?
Okay.
Just if you want that.
Number 9 is citizens of Los Santos who possess a legal and current weapons license have the right to bear and possess a firearm. Other tools or other or implements utilized as melee weapons do not require a license to bear and possess.
I have a problem with this.
What's wrong?
The DOJ has recently issued a clarifying advisory to the PD that even though they maintain weapons licenses, they may not purchase and maintain civilian guns.
Correct.
Mhm.
And everyone's well aware of it within PD. So
Why don't you just change current to civilian then?
So a legal and civilian weapons license?
Yeah. I mean, I think PD would handle anyone who wants to argue that technicality, right? So I think that's probably fine if we just add that term.
yeah.
Forgive me for being obtuse.
Sure.
What's the point of this?
It's kind of in the same vein of like a lot of I don't want there to be unspoken expectations of people or expectations from the people to the government, right? Which is why we did freedom of speech, which is why we did the free housing stuff. Obviously everyone knows that they have access to free housing. It's just kind of a little fluff, a little flavor to what's it called? That's basically it.
Okay, I
to
mean,
keep
hey, as long
messaging
as we
me at
still
these
control who
fucking
gets the license, then I guess
crackhead
effectively it's no
hours.
different.
Right.
All right, sounds good to me.
The next one is my favorite one. All citizens of Los Santos possess the right to challenge another to a duel to the death. Individuals who choose to participate in a consenting duel to the death must sign a contractual agreement written by a lawyer with a bar license or the Los Santos Department of Justice. 2 police officers must be present during the duel with a copy of a signed contractual agreement. If more than 2 parties wish to participate, they will duel at the Vinewood Bowl, the Coliseum.
Probably need a psych screening on this one.
Needs a waste of PD resources, too.
Sac is already often overstaffed. That might be a struggle to get, but Pixie might be down if it's big with her.
But thought we didn't we just do trial or combat last week? Now we're doing
Mutual
shooting.
melee.
But
Yeah.
this is so that one's a bit less violent, and it would be with fists. This
I think
is
it's their own terms, basically.
Who enforces the contract?
this is a duel to the death. So one person's going to die at the very least.
That
Oh
is a
my God.
slippery
So-
slope.
So we're 100% sure
crazy.
one of these people's gonna die after this is over.
They better. They signed a contract.
It's crazy.
What if they're forced into it?
Isn't Moon a fucking...
How would they be forced into it?
Isn't Moon an admin?
Well,
Points,
the
gun at head,
contractual-
sign
Held-
contract. Pussy.
Yeah, sign contract. Do
Oh,
this
no.
duel now.
Yeah.
Well, a lawyer would need to be present for that.
Well,
Lawyer also has gun
yeah.
to head.
and some may just do it because
He
it's
should
funny.
know that any sort of perma contract is just
They might.
not.
You know
it.
that
It's
the
a
first
slippery
people up there are gonna be
slope.
people like Chatterbox.
Any
and
sort of
he's not
perma
gonna
thing
die.
that is
So
a
we've managed to
contract
bring him
is
back
just
from the brink
nah.
of everything.
Block contracts,
James Randall
Great
will
bit
just
of
go around
contracts,
and challenge
whatever.
everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this one.
You
I
guys
mean,
like
it
the-
might be a good way to get guns off the street. Because there's nothing that says you
That's
can legally
fair.
possess a firearm.
We
Yeah.
just
I'm
what,
so
let
rest
people
them
sign
anyway,
these
don't they? 'Cause
contracts
they
and then
use
just
it.
get the guns?
Yeah.
I mean, and a duel isn't always necessarily a gun, right?
Oh, if it has to
They
be
just
supervised
blade
by
each other.
if it has to be supervised by the police, right? Think about
I
this
was
way.
about to say that, yeah.
You know, they're at let's say they're at the Vinewood Bowl. Two people are dueling to the death. Understood. Now, let's say one of them was forced at gunpoint to go there. What's stopping that guy from shouting to the cops, "I did not agree to this"? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I have your girlfriend
person with a
hostage.
weapon
You
or-
need
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do
yeah.
this or she dies. If you say anything to anybody, she dies.
I don't agree with the gun to the head loophole, guys. I'm just gonna say that.
I think we're looking too much into it. I mean, my thing is, I agree with the psych. Have a doctor on scene so they could medically pronounce them dead. The duel is not over until
Oh
a
my
doctor
God.
pronounces them dead.
That's crazy.
I
What
also
if I'm
think.
supervising and I get shot?
I mean, look, don't go to it then. I don't know.
Well,
But
I have to.
I also think they
I
should all
guess,
occur regardless of the Vinewood. Bowl.
Generally, none of our doctors are authorized to treat outside of the hospital. That doesn't necessarily apply to verifying someone is deceased.
Yeah, they're not treating; they're checking for a pulse, right?
So
Like,
I guess we could. I have a feeling Derek would have some issues with that.
And this
but-
would have to be contingent
Huh.
upon PD even being available to do this because we
Hold
can't
on.
pull them
Send-
off duty.
send
Let me
in from
just
Did you
question the obvious here. Why did we enact mutual combat with the restrictions it had if we're just going to do this?
You know, for a less permanent, less violent,
Send in from a
you know,
high
more
profile
fisticuffs
figure.
oriented
City
thing
council
for
are
judges to supervise.
failing their
Shouldn't it be the other
constitution,
way around?
failing
this
to be
is first-degree
transparent,
mutual
operating in
combat.
shadows
Yeah.
without the consult from citizens.
This is
Huh?
advanced mutual combat.
I think this is the first time I'm actually going to be a stick in the mud and say I'm not down for this one, dog.
I like the
That
concept.
sounds like just
I don't-
bullshit.
I feel like
I
it
think-
could. There's
if we're
just too
worried
much.
about- if we're
It
worried
would
about-
set up too many people, like to pull some. Yeah, like I said, I expect the worst of everybody, and I can just see this going so horribly wrong.
But if we're worried about people getting held up and stuff, then perhaps when the contract is being signed, then we have cops present, and the cops 101 can talk to the individuals who are going to sign it and say, or you know, basically straight up, are you being forced into this? Yes or no? You know.
And again, if they have somebody hostage,
Yeah.
then
well, I
you know.
think you all are straight up looking too much. There are so many checks in
Yeah,
this. They have to get signed off by
Right,
They have
then
to get
just
signed
don't-
off by a
don't-
lawyer. They have to do. I'm saying they should have to do at the Vinewood Bowl regardless. There's going to be a doctor on there. There's going to be two cops there who I'm presuming are doing their due diligence. Like I think we should be legislating for the 99.9% and not like the worst in the city, like except.
I agree with you when it comes to
yeah.
everything but people dying.
yeah, I'm still
There's a
going
reason
to
why
say
we
no.
have,
I don't.
because
I
as a
don't care.
counterpoint to that, there's a reason why we have beyond a reasonable doubt, right? Because we protect life to the point of the 1%.
Yeah, I'm an EMS. It is my job to save lives. I'm not going to legislate things where people can actually die. No, I'm not. This is a no for me.
Fair. I offer a clear counterpoint. I think some people in Los Santos deserve to die.
Agreed.
So do we
why we're
want a
trying to
death
have
penalty
I
Jesse
mean,
then,
that's
or-
what we have
death.
the death penalty for.
Oh yeah, that's
Well, see that's the thing though, right? You know, these violent shitbags, their lawyer might get them out of a death penalty, right? But if they're stupid enough to go out in the street and shoot people and rob people and do whatever, then they might be stupid enough to agree to a duel to the death, which takes care of the problem at the end point. Also, we could charge for it, guys. What do you think?
I do like money in the state account.
Yes,
That's
sir.
always good.
Let's put this to a vote then. I am for this as written. Nakota?
I'm gonna be a nay on this one as written.
Yeah, not as written, but if I add just like my couple stipulations, I would be.
Okay. Let's dial it back then. What is a stipulation that you would like to see in here?
So I would like to see a psych sign off. I do agree with that.
From both parties?
Yes, because one might die. You know, they have to know that they may die during this, right? So they have to be of sound mind. I could go either way on this. You know, I'll defer to like Cantor
How's
or
the
the
stream looking
doctors,
for
but I
tomorrow,
think a doctor being present
bruh?
to check for a pulse, I think that'd be warranted.
I
But
don't know
you
if
know,
I can promise that, but I don't hate it. I'm
and,
open to the idea.
and I think to prevent you know, the shit lording, or not that, sorry, the gun to the head types of arguments, I think it should always
How's my
be at
calendar?
the Vinewood Bowl. Like, this isn't going to be something that's in like a back alley thing. Like it's the Vinewood Bowl, the Coliseum. Like, all duels to the death are done there.
I don't have anything Monday.
All right, hold on.
Tuesday, I do have cleaners, but after that, I should be fine. Wednesday, I have something, but could stream after. Friday, I have something, but it's pretty late.
All right.
Saturday, I will be out.
So I know that Edda disagrees with this on a moral level, which is fine. Nakoda, what part of this is it a moral thing for you?
Partially, I'm more like, okay, so the I'm obviously coming this from a PD standpoint, but the idea that what say every single police officer you try to approach says, I object to this on a moral level and I don't want to participate in it.
Yeah.
I know that's like a very hypothetical. I'm just, this is where my mind
I
goes
think
to all
that would be a
these.
good way for the police to make their political voice known if they all objected on that ground, honestly.
That said, and I mean this is a compliment, Nakoda, but you're one of the most well-spoken, moral police officers I've ever known. A lot of them are just high school graduates, and a lot of them have the bloodlust.
Yeah, that's true.
Huzzah.
I'm
It was
gonna
not for
say
16
this in the
months.
best terms I can, and you guys will have to read into this however you want.
Sure.
I think that we're creating an unenforceable free roll.
Yeah.
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 I think that's what Mr. Simone was referring to as a slippery slope. Listen, Max, as someone who's a big fan of westerns and you know, the righteous man and all that, I'm a big fan of the idea.
Yeah.
I was one of the judges who 5 years ago consistently allowed mutual combat. I'm all for it, but I think there are issues at hand that are greater than us that would prevent this from ever working. And if you want to discuss that, we can discuss it privately.
Tell you what,
mhm.
I will speak to somebody about this.
Yeah.
I think it is not impossible to enforce this.
I know that things like this have been attempted in the past, and the consistent outcome is that people did not die.
Well, I think it's possible to, following all of these stipulations and whatnot.
Yeah, I'm saying no. Okay, let's talk about this elsewhere. I can't.
I know what you're saying. I get it.
Do we want to vote based off of the feasibility stuff, or do you want to table it then until we talk to other people, Max? Or do you talk to other people rather?
I wanted to talk
I
to
recommend
Sincere
tabling
about
it.
something, but now I forgot what the fuck I wanted to ask him.
I think we should table it as well.
Yeah,
okay,
let's table that and move on. Yeah.
I will speak to people about this.
Yeah.
And I think it's a little extra work, but I think it's for a good cause.
Do you want me to remove it?
Okay. Yeah.
Do you want to copy that and then, you know?
Oh, I had another
whatever with
idea. In terms of admin side of this, I
Sure.
think that we should, with our agenda, or not with our agenda, when we have the documents and we edit them like this at the meeting, the ones that get tagged as approved, I will volunteer to do this. What we should then do is, and what I'm doing is, I'm going to volunteer to do this, but also say that I'm not writing shit up in the future separately because I just don't have time. If we approve language in a meeting, it gets tagged as approved, then what I'm going to work on is a method by which I can then transition the report to the state announcements category. So the approved legislative acts immediately just get transitioned not only into legislation but also state announcements. So then people can check the public MDT and just see what we passed.
All right. I like that.
Okay, cool. So
You want me
yes, Juno,
to-
please remove things that we table.
Yep.
That way they don't get promoted.
Okay.
No,
Juno,
okay.
can you copy this
Yeah, I
as
got
written
you.
and put it somewhere else? Okay.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay. I have
Oh, yeah.
a point that I need to comment on when we get far enough down. Okay. The new number 10. I'm a fan of this one. The people of Los Santos reserve the right to form an organized militia in the event that their government has decided to militarize their police force, in parentheses S, so, you know, if there's other departments and whatnot that pop up. The leader of the militia should be elected by the people who wish to participate in it. The utmost effort must be made by this militia to reach a peaceful solution to their government's transgressions first. Alternative methods of reaching a solution will be just
no.
only if this has been attempted.
No, anti is
Boom.
literally.
What
it's
is
literally
militarizing a
force
police force
sanguine.
defined as?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking.
The precedent will be doing something like Sanguine again.
Yeah, but that wasn't those people renounced their citizenship.
Yeah.
So that's not a militia.
Loudly.
Okay, well, they weren't a militia. That's not what I'm saying. Okay, what I'm saying is that the crux of the issue here is the militarization of the police force
And I'm saying, how do we define that?
with Sanguine as an
Yeah,
example.
but Sanguine wasn't. We're circular.
Yeah, that didn't the militarization of the police force didn't happen until Sanguine
Renounced
renounced
their
their
citizenship.
citizenship and
specifically.
declared
So the two
war,
examples
to
we
speak.
have of the police force being militarized are both in situations where the other party attempted either one to annex land from the state, declare it their own, and declare themselves separate from the judicial and police systems, or two, the people absconded from the state physically
Was there
and
not
then
a
were
war
given the
Sandy Shores? There
opportunity
was.
to return without consequence and chose to affirmatively renounce their citizenship. So in either event, I don't know how you can define militarization that would justify a militia. See what I'm saying? Like even in other jurisdictions, the militarization internally only happens when people disagree with the rule of law and separate themselves formally.
That was also because we didn't have the police only got militarized because we don't have a standing army in this city. Like they were just the most well-equipped ones. I mean, I think if the police are getting too out of whack, that's on either like the treasurer to defund them quite a bit, or this council to come to a vote and say, hey, you know, you guys gotta stop doing this, or we're pulling back your power, like however that may be.
There's no way I'm approving.
Look, I'm not averse to the idea of a militia.
Right.
What I'm trying to understand is how we would would trigger the militarization.
Yeah.
And if the examples being given are Sanguine and the Sandy Shores War, then I don't see how a militia matters there because those people are no longer citizens anyway. In both cases, in Sandy, they established a compound, declared themselves a sovereign state, and declared the lands annexed. So they renounced their citizenship by pure definition.
Okay, stop there.
And
Stop
the
there.
other, when they
Stop
did
there.
affirmatively, yeah.
Okay, so that happens. Why is it the purview of the police force to militarize and peacekeep that?
It's not the purview of the police. In
not.
Sanguine, they were ordered.
Why did they do it?
The Senate ordered them to.
Yeah, we were ordered
because
to
the
go.
federal government ordered them to because we didn't have a standing army.
Okay, well, let's let the federal government handle this in the future then.
What do you mean?
I mean, the federal government has enough power and sway to establish all the infrastructure that we're working on now. It exists because you communicate with it. Why not let the federal government take this into their hands instead of putting the responsibility on the police force to act as an interim army?
Oh God.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, you don't. We don't want to do that.
What I don't want to do is to have the
These are
barely
really
educated
pushing
police
this on.
force of Los Santos acting as a
Okay,
an
so
army.
why don't
That's
so
what
why
I
don't
want.
we just so then we can accomplish that with a different approach.
Okay.
Why don't you just put in a bill of human privilege that an employee of the state in a law enforcement capacity may not be forcefully conscripted into a multinational conflict.
Perfect.
Because that accomplished, and I'm with you on your goal on that. I'm with you there. That's fine.
There you go.
I just, I think the other way is a misapplication of the idea.
Well, I like your idea too, so let's get it.
Yeah, let me write some language.
Okay.
I wrote a little summary. I don't know if you see it right there.
Oh, yeah, an employee of the state in a law enforcement capacity may not be forcibly conscripted into a multinational conflict. Yeah, easy, perfect.
Okay.
Bunch of doctors were. What about that?
I would say
Like,
in I would just say an employee of the state may not.
Or any employee, any employee.
I'm
That's
employee.
fine. Any
sanguine.
employee.
I'm glad I did not have.
I was over
Now,
that.
do we want to
Yep.
extend that to civilians? Do we want to say there's no such thing as a draft?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
I kind of like the idea of a draft though. Let's say there.
Yeah.
I like that too.
Let's for like issues. Like I heard rumors of a like a Russian invasion at one point while I was in prison. I think a draft could be kind of good for us in that regard.
I think a draft it would be a tool in the back pocket that the council can vote on when
if
it's
someone
needed.
dodges the draft, are they considered an enemy of the state?
I mean, we may have that.
Hold on. I think the people of Los Santos.
Come on, I was going to get to my drone striking idea.
Well, we get there. I'm just saying. I think that
Drone
I think we're dealing with a group of people, i.e., the citizens of Los Santos, that are inherently violent and would jump at the opportunity to enter into a draft to the point where I think we don't even need. I don't even think we need to make it illegal for them if they decide not to do it. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I think there would be enough people to do something about something like that if it ever came up.
So, so way back when, during the whole Russian stuff that happened, I remember specifically Kyle Pred wanted to be the leader of the Los Santos army. That never went through because it was just a mess, and also, the Russian embassy sort of died down and it wasn't needed. But there was a question that was raised where people wanted to sign up to be drafted to be part of this army.
Oh my god,
and
I got it.
The question was, if they have a criminal record, aka a felony, are they still eligible to be part of the draft?
Anyone who wants to lead the army has to submit into, let's call it, how many people, 8 or 10 max, into a 10-man Royal Rumble in the Coliseum to the death.
Oh yeah.
And the winner becomes the general.
There can only be one.
There can only be one.
Oh God.
Well, we don't want to kill potential soldiers in the event that we need them on the front lines.
Yeah, but they'd always harbor a grudge against them not being the leader. You can't have that person in your army.
Yeah, but we can also have like army
just change that from Russian
generals
to
and
Eastern
like
Bloc?
other like captains or whatever the fuck, rather than just like one leader. So these people who were like exactly like this, where Max was elected mayor, and then Michael was elected deputy mayor because he came second after Max. So it could be something along those lines.
All right, I think it, as written, is good for me.
Yeah. We can
sick.
flesh it out if we need to.
An employee of the state may not be formally conscripted into a multinational conflict. Works for me.
All right.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Number 11's another gimme, another fluff one, I suppose. Free mobile telecommunication services are provided by the state to all people in and about Los Santos. I specifically did not include citizens here because I think that everyone should have access to this particular service, even if they're an illegal citizen.
Oh, this is also I like this because this is also something we need. Because in other jurisdictions, when you subpoena someone's phone records, you have to go through like a private company, or you have to go through them to get their records and force them to produce. Here, it's all state run, so we just extract it ourselves. So this just codifies what is already kind of policy.
Perfect.
Lovely.
Okay.
I guess my one thing I'd say is
Having it being
you know,
provided by the
people live in
state,
crowd
could that be
they've got
tied into
phones in
them
prison and
actually
stuff. Is
being able
that
to read?
Ooh,
There.
true.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that's handled by, again, the right's not conflicting with any other
yeah,
you know,
okay.
being
Yeah.
there's already laws about contraband in prison, which includes
Fine with
phones
me
and
then.
things like that.
All right. Easy
So
enough.
right below that we have the Ninth Amendment reiteration for Los Santos, which is each of these stated rights may not infringe upon the rights of others guaranteed by this document.
Or
Yeah, that's
conflict with the
perfect.
penal code probably should be a
Mhm.
Okay, can you toss that in there?
yeah.
The next one is potentially contentious. Also, I need to add something here. This next little blurb.
No,
Um,
I'm tired.
I want to add a line that allows us to add to this document as well, if need be. Right now, that next blurb is about the
Lane.
people being able to raise issues
Length of
and
the amendment.
have a public vote to add stuff to this, provided it is not outright detrimental to the economic future of Los Santos, or if it is impossible. To give us some veto power insofar as someone coming up and being like, "Hey, I think everyone should have a bazooka," and then obviously, the people of Los Santos are going to be like, "Hell yeah," but obviously that's not possible for us to maintain law and order if everyone's got a bazooka, right?
Could they vote on something and then it's brought to us and we vote on it, or is that circumvent the actual pure vote that you're looking for?
I
with
would
this?
change economic to something else because there are things that are possible. I'm trying to think of how would you phrase that.
Why don't you just leave it as outright detrimental to the future of Los Santos?
As determined by the council, is that fair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they'll probably
Plan
want something that will
legs of
literally
14
cripple the
months.
state account, and I can't have that. Yeah.
Okay. So the idea here is that concerned parties that represent a majority of the people of Los Santos have presented in clear terms a new privilege to be added to the Bill of Human Privilege to the local government. I left this vague on purpose. I didn't want to define a specific role. Basically this says that anyone in the local government, i.e., maybe I should write instead of local government, we put Council of Eight instead at the end
Should we
there.
put a limit on this or something? Because
You mean like proposals can only be proposed once every 3 months, or?
well, I mean, for example, there was a lack of a limit on Twitter on the phones, so people started posting the script like the B movie.
Mm-hmm.
You mean a
and my
character limit?
No, I mean a ballot limit. So only so many public privilege items will be voted on each period. Kind of.
When you say period, do you mean every Council of Eight period?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just trying to think through.
It's almost been 12 fucking hours. Holy shit.
For example, I'm Chatterbox.
how
I
many
hear
have we done
this.
12 hours?
I'm gonna
Or for
submit
24 hours?
15 different initiatives each week that deal with clowns and being funny.
Only clown risk.
That's a good point.
I'm trying to think of how to make it so we're not tearing our eyes out dealing with this shit. And so people also respect it as a process. Because if it gets abused and people just put random shit in there because they can, then
We'll have to stop it.
maybe we should do our due diligence before the vote happens.
Yeah, that's the idea, right? Because step one is they bring it to us.
I thought it was step 2, it gets voted on the 80%, and then we decide if it's possible and not detrimental. I'm saying, what if we do our due diligence before it goes on the ballot?
Yeah, perfect. I'll just move this one up then.
Yeah, it says that there. If the two conditions are met, it will be put up for a vote.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the other way around. Never mind. I misunderstood. Okay, I thought it was if it was the two conditions are met, then it'll be enacted. Okay, all right. Perfect.
Sick. 3 a.m. me did a good job here.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're good. Oh, I need to add a line about I want the Council of Eight to be able to suggest stuff for this as well. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, we already can, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, why would we suggest it to a vote when we could just
add to it? I want us to be able to add to the Bill of Human Privilege.
Yeah, can we already do that? Just
we can amend anything.
Okay,
vote
good.
to amend
We
Okay.
could amend the
bill to-
Constitution if we wanted to. I mean,
Okay, sick. All right.
Does alcohol kind of
Just prettying this up
hydration?
a little
No.
bit.
Alcohol is dehydrating.
Any well, we've read through everything. Let's go
Why you
for a
get
vote.
headaches.
Any nays on the Bill of Human Privilege?
yeah, give me a second just to scan this shit again.
Or one of the reasons. Wait, which one are you looking at? What are we looking at? Wait, what are we looking? God damn it.
As Crane's reading over it, we're going to go through the vote here. I am obviously a yay, as this is something I presented. Nakota.
Yeah, as written, I'm a yay.
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 All right. Juno.
Yay.
Mr. Simone.
Yay. I don't know what I
Edda?
was agreeing to.
Yay.
Mr. Crane.
Yeah, it was good.
All right. The Bill of Human Privilege passes.
Oh, so it's a human privilege. Okay.
Securing basic rights and other assorted miscellaneous nonsense for the people of Los Santos. Unanimously, even after some revision.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I think it's in a good place.
Next, we have the so
Oh,
I drafted up a council pardoning process after we discussed the concept of a true pardon last time. It required some elaboration and work. Why don't you guys has anyone not read the council pardoning process document, report
I
1608?
skimmed it, but let me do a full read.
Yeah, I read it.
Okay, I'm gonna take a quick little breakaroo while everyone gets caught up, and I will be right back.
Okay.
Oh my god, these hours are fucking killing me. I don't want to read this. I'm gonna copy it and have Larry read it to me, or somebody else. I think I'm gonna have Gunnar read it to me. No, I'm gonna have Trav read it.
Guess there's another mass stabbing at Mosley's.
A mass stabbing in Mosley's. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
The mayor of Los Santos reserves the right to suggest the pardon of a legal citizen of Los Santos, should they feel that the other aspects of government, judicial, legislative, have not adequately executed their.
It's not generating quick enough. I'm gonna let it cook a little bit before we listen to it. It's almost like he's here.
The mayor of Los Santos reserves the right to suggest the pardon of a legal citizen of Los Santos, should they feel that the other aspects of government, judicial, legislative, have not adequately executed their ability to ensure justice for the individual in question. This places the judgment of the individual's case, which must have transpired prior to the mayor suggesting this individual for pardon, into question before the elected Council of 8, upon whom the responsibility to determine whether or not their charges and punishment should stand on the legal record. This will be accomplished by a majority vote, be it yea or nay. It is the duty of the Council of 8 to perform the following actions prior to hearing the advocacy of the individual in question by the mayor of Los Santos. Any council member who may possess a conflict of personal interest insofar as the individual is concerned must immediately recuse themselves from the individual's pardon vote. Failure to do so will result in a breach of their oath of office. If a council member was at all involved in the court case of this particular individual, they must recuse themselves from the vote pertaining to their pardon before the council. Ensure that at least 2 council members, the mayor makes this number 3, and their vote should always be yay, are impartial enough to execute a vote. If it is not possible to execute a vote, to execute a pardon for the individual in question after these 3 points have been observed and carried out, a well-respected and trusted representative from the medical servants of Los Santos may be selected by the Council of 8 to meet the requisite 2 votes besides the mayor's yay prior to the pardon hearing. The purpose for this failsafe is twofold. First, it is the duty of the mayor's office to ensure that each citizen of Los Santos is represented to the fullest of their ability, and an adequately expeditious attempt at ensuring a wronged citizen's pardon hearing is seen and heard fulfills this necessity aptly. Second, to prevent the possibility that a pardon hearing cannot be conducted due to an overabundance of recusal by the Council of 8. In the event of a tie, the mayor of Los Santos serves as the tiebreaker. If the individual in question is pardoned, their sentence is to be immediately commuted, and the fine that they were issued for the crimes associated with the incident on the whole is to be refunded to the citizen in question.
I wonder if he counts himself. That's the thing. From what I understood, the mayor makes this number 3, but he's also saying to... He's also saying that if there's any personal interest, they must immediately recuse themselves from the individual's pardon vote. Does that include himself? Also, pardon is still guilty. That is true. That they shouldn't get their money back. Did he walked out, didn't he?
Yeah.
There's a question. I'm assuming when he says that you need to remove yourself, that includes the mayor.
I was also curious about that.
Yeah, because further down he says that the mayor would be the 3rd, but I don't know if that's just an example. Also, why would they get their money back if they...
Michael, you are literally reading questions that I have written down on my notepad as we speak. So,
all right.
Yeah, I mean, I fuck their money. That was my main thing about this.
And why specifically medical servants?
yeah, I had that down too.
I also wondered that one, like, I love my doctors and everything, but that doesn't mean they're, like, infallible. That's a pretty random...
Right. I mean, even me as EMS, like, I don't know about all that one.
Even Cooked has good questions.
I feel like
kind of want to make fucking...
there should be something
instant
in here about
noodles.
frequent flyers as well, because
But I don't know if I have.
You know,
the
you don't want to see the
ball
same
to do
people
so.
going up and getting pardoned over and over and over again.
Yeah, I think that there should be a limit of some regard on that.
Oh, you
Like,
should.
you get
No,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
you should only be limited to one, of course.
You get one.
I mean,
Is that written in here?
the council would just
Is
not keep voting to pardon the same person over and over.
I guess they could just deny the vote, but yeah, it should be made
Yeah.
very clear that that's
Hello.
not going to keep happening.
Yeah. But yeah.
We're trying
Hello,
to.
welcome back. He said he left, didn't he? And then he walked out.
Do any of you guys have any issues with any of the wording in here?
Yes.
Okay, which part?
Michael and Malcolm.
Sorry, I can at least start with my first question I had written down after I read this morning is, does that mean every one of us could be conflicted except for you?
Correct.
Why would that be? Just
like if it's like a freak instance happens, in which case, because Los Santos is a big place with millions of people, right? But
Agreed.
it seems like we run into the same usual suspects, right?
Mhm.
To the point where it feels more like a small village at times.
Yep.
So if there is a freak happening in which all of us are like or all of you guys might be like good friends with this person, or had like conflicting relationships with the person, or maybe you're involved in a court case and stuff, that's the situation in which it would happen. I don't think that would ever happen truly, but I decided to kind of cover that base if need be, and I chose the medical servants of Los Santos to fill in that particular situation because I think it's an inherently merciful and passionate, or not passionate, what's the word, an honorable profession that allows them to act more impartially, right? Because like a paramedic, they're kind of duty, for example, if we didn't have a doctor, a paramedic's kind of duty bound to treat anyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Technically, we don't take an oath. Keep that in mind.
Oh, really?
The counterpoint, Julio's a doctor.
Yeah, Reed is a doctor.
Well, hold
Wolf
on.
Yeah.
I included a well-respected and trusted representative from the medical servants of Los Santos.
Thank God. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I do get where you're coming from now, so that clears up my
fair.
question.
Okay.
Only a question I had is why the fine?
Yeah, that was another one.
Because a pardon doesn't technically mean that you're declaring that they didn't do it. It means you're declaring that for a various number of reasons, you don't believe they should be punished.
Did I have any? Yeah.
And
What did I miss?
taking them out of jail, I get with, but refunding the fine is interesting.
I think it should be refunded because the concept of this iteration of a pardon kind of insinuates that their issue is raised to a point where people, or where it is the perception that they must not have actually done any wrong. Like the system failed at some point for them, and I think that they should be reimbursed for.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that language too. So effectively, we're voting on whether or not we think the DOJ fucked it up.
Not explicitly.
Wasn't that what you just said?
Yeah, to you guys, but the way that it's written right now, it kind of it is. Look, it's a check and balance, right? On the judicial and legislative systems. A fine is part of the punishment, regardless. I think if someone is found to be pardonable by whoever would be voting on that, deserves to have their money returned to them, because it insinuates that us, people who have been trusted with the responsibility to determine the course of Los Santos, have the wisdom to determine whether or not they truly deserve to be punished.
Okay, so wait, does it say in here which kinds of charges can be pardoned? Because
yes, no violent capital crimes will ever be reimbursed or removed from their record.
It says that in expungement. I don't know if it says that specifically in the pardon process.
I did have I was just gonna bring up someone. So right before this, I had Norman run up to me. Sorry to be this guy again. It's up to y'all if you find this to be a concern at all. Apparently, Jonathan Acker, I believe is his name, is claiming credit for helping write both this pardon and the expungements pretty loudly.
In the past,
he already has felony crimes, and it would directly impact him.
This one, and also, in good faith with the disclosure project that Malton is working on, this was written by me, and it was essentially spell checked by my wife.
So why is he claiming that he wrote these?
In the past, he and I'm looking at him as to serve as a legislative aid. In the past, he was kind of giving me advice on this, but everything that was written here, I didn't even use his work as a reference.
I was going to say, because he approached me in the courthouse not but like 2-3 days ago to say that he was working with you on numerous pieces of legislation.
Yeah, that's what he told Adams as well,
and
apparently.
Yeah.
That is something that might happen in the future, but it did not happen for any of the stuff that I'm presenting to you right now.
Yeah, and I can attest to that because yesterday we were up so fucking late working on this.
He stopped working with idiots, probably. So that's on him. I trust you though. I believe that.
Well, no, I'll work with whoever I want, provided it's legal.
Understood. All right.
What happens? What happens if the mayor is conflicted?
The mayor can't be conflicted as this is written.
It says any council member. You are a council member.
Before that, it is a. Hold on, where did I write it?
So the mayor cannot be conflicted.
I may have written that after that. I'm pretty sure I wrote it in here that the assumption here is that if the mayor presents someone to be suggested for a pardon, that it insinuates that by default the mayor is their advocate and therefore they are in favor of them receiving a pardon. Otherwise, it would have never gone before the council to begin with.
That kind of makes sense to me. I mean, if you're posing it, then you obviously are on their side.
So, yeah.
I would say that I'm not opposed to a pardon system. I would say that as this is written, this looks more like judicial oversight than it does an actual pardon.
Yeah, that's where I'm kind of struggling. This makes it sound like you're so, for example, the way that I understand pardons is kind of like okay, so two terms just to make sure we're on the same page. Clemency, which is the mayor steps in and says, you're up on the death penalty at the 0 hour. I'm going to grant you mercy because that's just like a human thing to do. Regardless of what you did, regardless of the fact that you're guilty, I don't believe in the death penalty. I'm the mayor. You get clemency. You don't get killed. Okay, that's what we had in the past. That was the extent of it. Pardons, I understand to mean that you feel that someone's benefit to society is greater than their crimes. And so you would pardon their crimes and allow them a release. So this usually happens with people who, for example, go to jail and then they, become a lawyer and help people get exonerated and give people free legal advice and get people their GEDs, shit like that. This sounds like you're saying, and in fact it does say, right, that the other aspects of government have not adequately executed their ability to ensure justice, which to me sounds more like judicial oversight.
And
counterpoint, why not have some judicial oversight?
Well, we do.
What?
We have a Senate appeal in which the federal government can step in when judges have made the wrong call.
Should we not have something that allows us to ease the burden of the federal government?
He's a schnick.
And handle things in city instead?
No, it is. There's hearings. It's not that this is literally, we've had cases that I've sat on where we've reversed judicial decisions that were incorrect interpretations of the law, et cetera, et cetera. In fact, some judges who now are trying to become lawyers again were removed from their positions because they didn't adequately enforce the law.
So the way that the system worked and possibly works now then is that the when the judicial fucks up, the judicial checks and balances themselves with this hearing.
So typically there is a panel convened.
I need this to be over.
In
so
the
I can go to bed. My
past,
fucking head is starting to
it
kill me.
comprised of myself and 2 senators.
There's no Senate though.
Correct. So the idea would be that there should be some kind of additional seating on the panel, and we haven't reached that stage yet. But nonetheless, the appeal system was conducted under a judicial setting. And I feel like that is the definition of judicial oversight. I think a pardon should be separate from the justice system.
How could it ever be separate from the justice system when a court case has to transpire prior to them even being considered for a pardon?
Because as described prior, pardons are typically not articulated to be a remedy for poor adjudication. They are a remedy for people who are exceptions to the norm in terms of sentencing, would be a good way to put it. So, for example, if you're sentenced to life because that is the statutory sentence for a certain type of crime, a pardon may be used to exemplify how, although that is the deterrent we want in society, you as a person have shown yourself to be unique.
The candy I brought to the HOA house.
I think let's not get hung up on the and you'll see this with the adoption thing. I think we have a unique position to sort of define in what it means in Los Santos for a pardon to be a pardon.
Sure.
I think that this is a healthy check on the judicial. I think this eases the burden of involving the federal government because this is once again while this particular pardon, as was stated in the last meeting, it isn't even the purview of the executive. It becomes the purview.
Suggestion.
Mhm.
What if instead of the senators sitting in on the panel of a formal appeals case,
bro, I could eat a
non-conflicted members of the city council join myself,
and then
I describe and explain the legal precedents and rules to them, and then they join me in making a group decision as to the outcome.
I love that. Well, why not have both of these options though? Because for example, there might be someone who I personally, or the mayor personally, does not believe is worthy of enacting the pardoning process, but someone who may meet the qualifications for something like what you're suggesting.
So what I'm suggesting is you keep the appeal system. The panel system remains. Instead of senators, we draw on the city council as long as they're not conflicted. And then we rework the pardon to not be a judicial oversight, but to be more of what I've described as a mercy.
Apart from the sentence in the first paragraph there, what part of this makes it a judicial oversight?
The refunding of the fine, as example.
Yeah, Turkish paper.
I think I would like pardons to exist as a way to grant special status to people who we believe deserve, despite their crimes, to be released. But I don't like the idea of refunding their money and declaring that the judicial fucked up, because if we as the Senate, or we as the, not the Senate, the city council are the ones handling appeals, then we'd essentially be saying we fucked up, which is kind of stupid.
But are you not outright saying that you fucked up through your appeal process or whatever? Or the way that the panel.
That's why I don't take a majority of cases.
Okay.
Well, if Siobhan was here, she could vouch for this, but I specifically, when judges come to me about cases that may be contentious outcomes, I specifically do not discuss them at length. And I specifically ask lawyers, like you can confirm this with Rami, for example. I've told Rami and Siobhan both that, for example, if Murphy were to appeal his outcome, that I don't want to be a part of them asking me how they should strategize, what information they should use, because I would like to be able to fairly evaluate if my judges did their job or not. And if I involve myself prior, then I'm unable to do so. Part of me moving into the Chief Justice role was accepting the oversight capacity and reducing my normal caseload. I typically do not take